All right, gentlemen, I'm taking over now. Who spoke those 6 simple and polite words? It was none other than Jonathan Jackson, 17-year-old brother of George Jackson, spoken on August 7th, 1970, in the Marin County Courthouse in California. And that was an audacious statement. All right, gentlemen, I'm taking over now. It was one of the catalysts behind the commemoration of what we call today Black August. So 100 years from now, don't let them come up and change the narrative and lead you to believe that Black August came about because some Black people got together on a hot day in August and locked arms and sang Kumbaya. Nah. Mm-mm. Black August remembers and honors the freedom fighters, particularly those struggles that took place during the month of August, and it honors the history of Black resistance in the United States. It's a time of reverence to honor political prisoners, freedom fighters, martyrs of the Black liberation struggle. Jonathan Jackson went into that courtroom that fateful day in an attempt to free his imprisoned brother, George Jackson. George was the epitome of what America fears, the Black criminal mentality transformed into a Black revolutionary mentality. They saw it with Fred Hampton. And a year earlier, made sure that he was stopped. They saw it with the Black Panther Party, and they had to go. Ruchell McGee, the sole survivor of that August 7th bloodbath, still sits in prison today. We know the name of Angela Davis, but Ruchell McGee, in the beginning, was her co-defendant. He still languishes in prison. And a year later, August 21st, 1971, George Jackson himself was assassinated by guards during a rebellion at St. Quentin State Prison. So, Black August commemorates all that. The Attica Uprising in September 1971 followed, arguably the most well-known prisoner-led rebellion in U.S. history. Indeed, a plethora of important moments related to the struggle for Black freedom occurred in August. The beginning of the Haitian Revolution in 1791, where Toussaint Louverture, Dessalines, and Christophe outwitted and defeated the Spanish, the French, and the British armies, establishing what? The first Black republic in the Western Hemisphere. The landing of enslaved Africans stolen from present-day Angola at the Jamestown settler colony in 1619. The 1831 insurrection led by Nat Turner. The 1965 Watts Rebellion. The 1971 attack on the official residence of the provisional government of the Republic of New Africa in Jackson, Mississippi. The 2014 Ferguson uprising, to name a few. The birthdays of Honorable Marcus Garvey and Fred Hampton were in August. Mumia Abu-Jamal, a former Black Panther and political prisoner who's been in prison over 40 years, spent the majority of that time on death row in solitary confinement, has perfectly summed up the significance of Black August for Black people in this country. He said, quote, August is a time of meaning, of repression and radical resistance, of injustice and divine justice, of repression and righteous rebellion, of individual and collective efforts to free the slaves and break the chains that bind us, end of quote. When we have a firm understanding of what past freedom fighters have gone through, we are less likely to try to simply reinvent the wheel and more likely to generate new ideas and methodologies. Black August reminds us that there is a long legacy of Black resistance that began the minute white European colonizers first stole Africans and brought them to Turtle Island to use for slave labor. Thank you, Mumia Abu-Jamal. So, Black August remembers and honors Black freedom fighters, particularly those that took place, events, activities, the movements during the month of August. And Within Black August, there is a tradition of fasting from sunup to sundown, studying and educating to help instill self-discipline. So on this Black August 2022, let us remember and uplift the names of Black freedom fighters and struggle for those who struggle for us. Let us remember the names of those who remain incarcerated. Ruchell McGee, we spoke of, Mumia Abu Jamal, but there's also Imam Jamil Alameen, also known as H. Rap Brown. There is Faranza Bowers. There are allies such as Leonard Peltier. Let us help provide funds for reentry for former political prisoner Sundi Atta Okoli, 85 years old, recently released from nearly 50 years of imprisonment, one of the oldest persons who had been incarcerated in this country. Go to Sundiata Okoli FC, standing for Freedom Campaign, Sundiata Okoli FC, for information on how you can donate. On this Black August, please, please help uplift the call for compassionate release for Dr. Mutulu Shakur, stepfather of Tupac Shakur, in prison for the past 33 years, 71 years old, suffering from severe bone marrow cancer, given mere months to live. Stand with the hashtag Free Mutulu Now campaign. Visit Linktree/Free Mutulu Now for updates. Let us commemorate. Let us commemorate, honor, and respect our freedom fighters. Let us uplift the names of our political prisoners. Let us demand freedom and justice. And in the immortal words of the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, himself at one time a political prisoner, whose birthday heralds this and every month of Black August. Up, you mighty race. Up, you mighty race. Up, you mighty race. You can accomplish what you will. This is Nikichi Taifa for Black August. Out.